Hi, I'm Neil Curtis from neilcurtis.me, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to create and embed a form into your site like this. And then once you fill out this form and submit it, it generates a brand new post or custom post on your site. Okay, onto the tutorial. We're going to use the Cred plugin, which is a WordPress plugin that's part of a suite of plugins called Toolset from a company called On The Go Systems. And they also have other great plugins for creating custom post types and styling these custom post types, which I use and you'll see here in the tutorial. But for now, we're going to use the Cred plugin to create front-end forms to allow us to add content and then edit content on our website. Okay, so I've got previous videos where I use the types plugin to create custom post types and custom fields, and also the views plugin to style and lay out these custom post types. And these tutorials are here if you want to see that. But now we'll just go on to using the Cred plugin. So to show you what we want to do is we want to create new Turbo Trainer product pages. So if I click on this, for example, this is a Turbo Trainer product page. So this is for this Tax Hygienist Turbo Trainer. So you see we've got all of these are custom fields here for the specifications of this trainer. We've got an image, got the share buttons, and we've got this price comparison unit in here, then some more areas here, and we've got a big description, and then a couple more images, and then this repeats. So this is the custom post type for a Turbo Trainer, and what I want to do is I want to create this all from the front end of the site, so not going to the dashboard. So what I could do is I could go new Turbo Trainer, so there's a custom post type to set up, and then I've got all these fields in the dashboard to set up to create this post. But I don't want to do that. I want to do it all from the front end using the Cred Forms plugin. So here we go. Here's the Cred. So we've got types, Cred, and views because they're all part of the same suite of plugins called Toolset, and I use them all the time to create custom post types and lay them out on my site. But now we're just going to use the Cred. First off, we'll have a look at the types because I want to have a look at the custom fields that I've got associated with Turbo Trainer products. So I've done this in the previous video tutorial, which you can see the link for. But here you see we've got all of these different custom fields that we've set up to help us create our Turbo Trainer products. So we're going to be using these custom fields, and we're going to populate these custom fields using Cred. So first off, we go Cred, new form. And by default, it uses a wizard, so we can put in a form title. So add a new Turbo Trainer, that would be the form title. Click next, it goes on to the next step in this setup wizard. So these are the settings. So the forms can create new content or edit existing content. Choose what you want. So you want to create content and choose what to do after visitors submit the form. I want to display the post that's been created. And then we can pause if you want, but I'm going to say do it straight away. Next. So the next stage, choose the type of content this form will create or modify. It's going to create a Turbo Trainer, which is a custom post type. Then select the status of the content when it's created. We're going to say make it published. So if you had people writing content for your site and maybe you wanted to view this content, you didn't want it published straight away, you could choose put pending or draft, but here I'm happy to say publish. So next we go to the form creator. So we have this top area where we put all of our shortcodes to display different fields in the form, and then if you click here we've got the CSS styling. We're going to be using both of that. So I'm just going to go add new post fields. And first of all I want the form container because everything's got to be within a container. So I click that and we've got this opening and closed shortcodes for the form. I'll just put some space, and now we'll start building up the form that we want to display. Like I said, I've already set up lots of custom fields for my Turbo Trainer products, so I can access all of these here and put them in. So I'll show you. So we've got standard fields, sort of name, description. Actually, we want to the name of the turbo trainer, we need that. So I'm going to put that standard post in here. I won't have any placeholder. So this is the name. And for now I'll put in one custom field. So we've got custom fields. These are all the custom fields I've set up for the turbo trainers. So what I want to ask for first is it a roller or is it a direct drive trainer? That's just a type of trainer. And this is a select drop down field. Okay, that'll do for now. Let's go to the bottom, go next, and then I'm not going to have any notifications, so I'll just go finish. I'll update that even though I would have done it anyway. So now when you go through the wizard, and after you finish the wizard for the form creation, then just all the different areas open up straight away. So there we have, that's what we put in. So what we need to do now is we need to embed this form we've just created, and I'll show you that. So if I go Cred and Forms, you see we've got our form that we've created. So we need to embed this into a page so we can actually see it. So I'll go Pages, Add New, and I'll open this in a new tab. And I'll just call this page, add a new turbo trainer. And then if you go to the main editor window, you see now we've got this Cred Forms here. When you install and activate the plugin, you get this option. I've got another add form, that's Gravity Forms, but we're not using that today. We're going to use Cred Forms. Click it, and then it's a new content form. And we only have one option because that's all we've got. Add a new turbo trainer form, insert. So I'll publish this. And we'll view it. And there we go. We've got on this page these social shares, which I don't want, so I'll get rid of them now. And also we've got the sidebar, which I don't want. I wanted a full page. So I'm going to push back. Because I use a Genesis framework, I get all these extra options at the bottom. So I'm going to say full page. But if you don't have the Genesis framework, you can do this yourself by modifying the page setup PHP file, but we don't need to. We don't want any comments on this page either. Okay, I'll update that. So it's going to be full width now, but we don't want those social share buttons. And this post has an ID of 3010. So I'm going to go to the Mash Share, open this in a new window. This is the plugin I use for my social share icons. I'm going to say exclude from this page. Right, now when we view a page, it should be full width without needing social share, which is exactly what it is. Alright, so here we have a title, and then here we've got the option, is it a roller or direct drive? So that's how the two fields we've set up show. And first of all, I don't want it full width because it's far too big and pointless. So I'm just going to make it small. So now I've got to target these fields and do some custom styling to them. That's what we'll do now. So I'm going to click this to open up the editor window. So first off, I want to target this post title field. And we do that in this CSS JavaScript area here. So it's really neat that you can do all the CSS styling right here next to where you do the HTML shortcodes and stuff. But how do we know how to target this area here? What we can do is, there's a load of shortcodes that, a load of classes, CSS classes that refer to these different types of fields. So if I right click here and go inspect, so I'm using Chrome, Google Chrome web browser. But there are different add-ons you can get for other web browsers to inspect them, the CSS and the styling. So if I go inspect element, opens up this window here that shows me, and if I hover over different areas, bits of code, it shows me above what it refers to. So there we want to look at this area of the form. So the stuff highlighted here relates to that, and in here we have a class that is here. So you see class, we've got wpt-form-text field, and that's what we want. So what I can do is I can double click on that. Just going to copy this class name, so Control C on that, go back to my form editor, and then the CSS for this is dot and then the class name, and we've got the open and close curly brackets, which I always put in like that. And now we need to type in some formatting. So I want the width to be a lot smaller, because at the moment it's full width, so I'm just going to go width, I'll say 300 pixels. Okay, and just so we don't get confused later, I'm going to put in a little commented out area, just so we know what it is. This is text field formatting. And close that there. That's just a comment area, so if we've got lots of styling, we know what's what. Right, so I'll update this. And if we refresh, we don't need this anymore. So if we refresh this, hopefully this will get smaller, but I've got a feeling it won't, and that's fine. And it didn't get smaller. And the reason is there is some CSS styling in the main theme CSS style sheet that defines what these text areas are like. So if we want this one to take precedence, we want this one to be the one it uses, you can put the word important, and it just tells the browser, it tells that this one is the one we want to use for text fields. So I'll update that, and now it will shrink down. There it does. But what else I want to do is I want to put a bit of a spacing in here, because these two fields butting up right next to each other. We don't want that. So that's what we'll do now. I'll put a margin at the bottom. So a margin at the bottom of, say, 20 pixels to push this down. So we go into here, go back into our styling. I'll go margin bottom 20 pixels. Oops, and I didn't want that at. I wanted a colon. I'll update that and refresh it, so now it should bump a bit of a gap here, which it has. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is we need to know what that first field is, and it's a title. So I'm going to put an h2 tag here and say turbo trainer name. So that is the title of this area. Again, I'll update. I'll do a bit more editing later where I don't update so much, but just at the start I'm going to update it just so you can see exactly how each bit of code it changes it. Right, so there we go, turbo trainer name. And I want to pull this field a little bit closer to that title, so we can put a margin top of a minus number. We'll say minus 10 pixels. So that'll pull this text field up towards the title a bit more. Okay, that's good enough. Right, so now we'll go to format this area here. And the reason it didn't get formatted before when we did this one is because it's a different kind of field. This is a select field, whereas this was a single line text field, or a text area, or text field, sorry. So now we'll target this one. And again, we can do the same. I won't do it, I'll do it now, but not again, because you can just see the procedure. So if I inspect the element, we'll see this roller area here is called class name of wpt-form-select. Okay, so I'll just copy that. And then we can put it in here. Dot for class, styling, and then that name. And I'll just copy this here, just so we know. Then say select field formatting, just so we know what it is. Right, so we basically want it to be the same as this. So what I'll do is I'm just going to copy this, paste it in here, because I just want it to be the same. So update, get rid of this, and refresh the page. And there you go, it's shrunk down, and now we've got our two options. Right, so I'm going to carry on with the rest. So I'll put a title in for this one. This one is called Turbo Trainer Type. And now I want to put in another custom field, and this time I want brand. We'll update this, and brand is another select field, I think, and if it is, we don't have to do anything. It is, there we go, because that's been formatted because we've already set the formatting for this one. So we can just go brand here. So next we'll put in, I've got a field called brands too, and I'll show you why I do this later, but this is actually a checkbox area, and there's a little bit of styling to do on this, so it's quite useful to show you how to do it. There we go. So this is the styling out of the box, and you see it's not very nice at all. We've got these bullets because it's in a list, and we've got the checkbox which work, but they're all the way over there and they're not right. Okay. So I found out the CSS code the same way as before, so I won't do that. So first of all, there's two different areas. There's an area here that holds this field label and the checkbox. There's also a separate one that just targets this checkbox alone. So we need to access both of them. First of all, we need to set a width of this and get rid of this dot bullet. Then next we need to float this relative to this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go dot, and the CSS code is WPT dash form dash item dash checkbox. Okay. And if we put display block, that will get rid of those bullets. And then I want the font, I want this to be bold, so we can specify that here. Font weight bold. And okay, we'll just do that for now and see how this looks. See, it's got rid of that bullet and it's made that bold, but it's still not right. So I want to make this a bit smaller, so I'm going to say give it a width of 300 pixels. And I'm also going to use this because I want to be the same spacing as the other fields, and we'll see how that looks. See, that looks alright, it's a lot neater, but this checkbox is right up here and we want it to be down here, so we can target this little checkbox itself to make sure it lines up. Then we have a special bit of styling for this. So WPT is it all start out, and it's form, and it's item, and it's checkbox, and then we use it, the code input square brackets and then type equals checkbox. Okay. And what we want to do with this is I want to say margin top 10 pixels. I want to tell it to float right. Let's see how that looks. Not much has changed. I'm going to go width, auto. And there we go. That's neatened it up a lot. There's a bit of a gap here, a margin here that we don't want, and that's because again it's picking up some styling that's already been set in the themes style sheet, so we need to overwrite that here, and this is this section, and it's margin left, we want it to be 0 pixels. I'm going to put the word important so it overwrites any other styling that's in the style sheet for the theme. Right, and there you go, it's got rid of the margin left, so now everything lines up neat. And that's not really essential if it's going to be a form for creating new posts, but you might as well make it neat, everything line up. Okay, we haven't given that a title, so I'll do that. And this is brand 2. Alright, so what's next? The next field we want to add is trainer name. I'm just going to add a few different ones now. So I've got the trainer name, or the model name. We've got RRP. Just going to speed this video up a bit because I'm just going to add all the other fields that I've got different custom post types for. There's no point in watching me do this in real time. And finally we've got the Amazon affiliate code, and then we need a submit button at the end, so we go post fields, form buttons, form submit, and the value, the words it says submit by default, I want to say add a trainer. Right, so that's all the fields we want. I'm going to save that. I've got a lot of fields here. If we go refresh this, we can see them all, and most of them are formatted, some of them aren't. The ones that aren't are the ones we haven't touched yet. So this is a radio button field, we haven't looked at that yet. That's a radio button. This is a paragraph or a text area field which we haven't done yet. These are the image upload field which we haven't done yet. And this is a what you see is what you get editor field which we haven't styled yet either. So I'm going to go through and target these. So what I want is this radio field, so we'll go in here and we just need to go down to our code. I'll copy this again just so we know what it is. So this is radio button field formatting. .wpt as always, and it's form dash input, no, item, sorry, dash radio space input type equals radio. And basically we want to format it the same as these checkboxes. So I'm just going to copy and paste these checkbox. And then again, we've got the different other areas, just like checkboxes. So I'm just going to put item radio and then copy this styling. So that is styling the radio buttons exactly the same as the checkboxes, which is what we want. And we'll have a look just to make sure it's working properly, and it's always good to do this because a lot of the CSS, I've said it before in other tutorials, there's a bit of trial and error and making sure things work the way they do, which they have. So the radio buttons now are there, and this is checkbox below. They look nicer spaced out when I put the titles in, but we'll do that at the end. Alright, so that's the radio buttons. So what do we need to format now? Text area, which is very similar to the text field, but it's an area, so I'll just copy that. So instead of text area and field, it's area. And I want it to be a bit bigger. I don't want it to just be the same width. I want it to be bigger. So I'm going to say 50% rather than a minimum. But what I want is a minimum width. I don't want it to be always be 50% of the screen. So if we minimize the screen, or if you look on a mobile device, a smartphone, we don't want this to be 50% of the screen. We want it to be the full width then. So I'm going to set a minimum width of 300 pixels. So it can never get smaller than 300 pixels. And there it goes, it's 50% of the screen now. So now we need to do these image fields. I want to make them small, 300 pixels like that. So again, let's copy that CSS code and put image upload formatting. CSS styling for that is dot WPT, as it always is for these Cred forms. Then Cred file upload file. And again, I found out this styling name by looking at the inspecting the elements. So I'll do it here. So if I go file inspect, you can find out the name. And see, we have here in the class name, we have WP Cred file upload file, and that's what we use. Alright, so I want it to be a width. In fact, I'll just copy off this. Because I want the same format. Width 300 pixels, margin bottom, margin top. It's as easy as that. There we go, nice and neat. So we've just got these two, what you see is what you get areas, and then that's all the styling done, and this submit button could be a bit wider as well. So again, I found out the CSS styling code the same way. And it is dot WP dash container. There's actually two parts, which I found out when I did it before. We've got this top area is one part that needs styling, then we've got this bottom area, that's another part that needs styling. We just do them both. And the bottom part, that's the top part, and the bottom part is and like the description area up here, we want it to be a bit bigger. So I'm just going to copy the formatting for the description, which was this one. Stick it in for both of them, and that should work. Which it has. So now we've got those two areas formatted. Now just make this button a bit bigger. So to target the button, submit button, we use the code wpt-form-submit. And that just needs to be the normal 300 pixels, and the other ones like that. Nice. Right, so what I'm just going to quickly go in is put the titles in for all of these other ones that we haven't done yet, and then the form is complete. I'll just speed this up again just to get this part over and done quickly, because I'm just doing the same thing every time. Right, so that's all of those headings put in. Update everything and then refresh. Alright, so now each one of these areas has got its title, so we know what it is. Great, so that's nice. You can just leave it at that, but I'm going to bump this across a bit so it's more away from the edge, just so it looks a little bit neater. It's not really important to do this, but I'll just do it. So I'm going to create a div. Call it form wrap. And stick the closing div at the end. And then at the top of this, I'm going to say div, which starts with a hash, and it was form wrap. I'm going to say margin left of 5%, just to bump it across a little bit. Right, so that's it, we're ready to go. So let's do this. So if I create a turbo trainer name, I might copy a similar one that we've done, that I have on the site already. So I'm just going to find a turbo trainer here. And we'll copy, say, this one, the iGenius. So remember, this is how we want it to lay out. So when we submit this form, it should lay out like this, right? So it's called I call it an example because it's an example. Call it an example iGenius Indo Turbo Trainer. Is it a roller? Direct drive, it's a roller. What brand? It's brand tax. Then I've got this one to fill in, and I'll show you why in a minute. Model name, it's called it's called the iGenius, and its price is 999. Its price is 999.99. and it is a motor, and then it's a motor, it's high resistance level, it's a virtual reality trainer, and for the description I'll just copy this text here so we don't have to write it all out again. Put that in there, and then images, so choose an image, and we'll just select that one, choose another image, use that one, choose another image, we'll say that one. Model number, it is a T2020, and then price comparison code. So this generates this price comparison unit, and there is some special code, and I use a program called Data Feeder to generate this for me, but I need to put in a shortcode to do it. And the shortcode is this, and then it needs a special ID number and 40289. That's a special one for this turbo trainer. And then best price code, this is for not actually the turbo trainer page, but for some other parts. I'll put that in, and this has got its own similar but different shortcode, and it's the same number, 40289. An Amazon affiliate link, and this is a special affiliate link code that I've got, but what I'll do is I'm just going to search Amazon, and then Taxi Genius, and that's the trainer we want there. So I'm just copy that code, plonk it in there. Right, so that's all the fields done. And if I click add, and remember we said on this form, when you submit it, display the actual post and as published. So when I hit this, it should show as a post published. And there it is. That's the one we set up. Example iGenius Indoor Trainer. All of these values, the code, these things get added automatically using the custom layout options with the views plugin. That's part of the toolset suite that Cred's part of. The Amazon link, got the text, and we've got these images. So there it goes. It's as easy as that. But what happens if something went wrong here and I want to edit this form, and we don't want to just go into the page. I can click edit turbo trainer here, and it's created a new turbo trainer with all the things filled out that we said at the front end. But we don't want to do this. There's no point in having a front end form if we're going to have to go into the back end to edit it. So what we can do is we can use Cred really easily to create an embedded form in here that you only see if you want to edit this page. So normal visitors wouldn't see it, but if you're logged in and you've got permissions to edit the page, you will see an edit link to edit these fields. And we'll quickly set that up now. So go back to Cred. We've completely finished with this now. So we'll go Cred and we'll go forms to see our list of forms. And we've got this one, and I'll clone it, because when we edit it, we want to edit all the fields. We basically want to clone this, and I'll call it Edit Turbo Trainer. Get rid of that copy. There we go. We've got Edit Turbo Trainer form. Click on this. The form is exactly the same, but if you look at the top, basic settings, we don't want to create content with it. We want to edit content with it. And everything else is the same. Apart from I want to change the submit button to Edit Turbo Trainer. But everything else is exactly the same. So let's update those changes we've done. And now we've set up in about 30 seconds a form to edit content. But I need to embed this form in these custom post types so we can edit them. And I'll show you how to do that now. And as I mentioned, I use the views plugin, which is part of the same tool set of plugins, to style my custom post types. So they're called content templates, and I've got one for TT Turbo Trainer products layout. So this here, which looks very similar to the Cred backend, but this is a views, for creating a content template, and this is all the information and styling to lay things out like this. So basically just need to add my edit cred form to this page so we can edit it. And now what I'll do is I'll add it to the very bottom. So if we go to the bottom here, and I'll just go a couple lines down. See, we've got cred forms, click it. I want to edit the content with the form, and I only have one edit form here. Insert. So now it's inserted that link. Update. Refresh our page now. If you go to the bottom, we've got here edit, and it says the name of the trainer, edit example iGenius store. So if I click that, it will allow me to edit the page. So I'll do that. And in this particular case, the form opens up in the middle. So you see we've got all of these fields, which is basically our form, so we can change anything. So I'm going to, instead of saying example iGenius indoor, I'm going to change this to virtual reality here. I'm going to leave everything else the same. I'm just changing the title, so this title will change. So go down, see you can change everything. I'm going to click edit trainer, and now the title is changed. So there you go. I've just shown you how easy it is to create new post types from the front end of your website. So people can do it, you can do it, or other people can do it without having to access your dashboard. And then once you've created one, you can edit them. And this applies to everything. So if I click on a different turbo trainer that we've created a long time ago using the standard method, even though we created this using the dashboard, it's still got this edit link at the bottom. So now I can modify it from the front end really quickly if I want to. And remember I said I have choose your brand, but then I've also got another option to choose your brand, and this is because I've got a filter area on the website and I need these different areas to do this. So if I click on find a trainer here, you will see our new trainer that we just created here is showing up, although something's gone crazy there. But we have the example iGenius Virtual Reality Turbo Trainer, and that is created. I don't know why it's like that, so it shouldn't be. So I'm going to edit it and see what I've done wrong. And what I've done wrong is I haven't written this code properly. I'm supposed to have and limit equals 1. This is just what the code is for this price comparison, and pulls in the cheapest price. So what that does is it pulls in the cheapest price from this list and displays it here on this page. So there we go. So not only do we create the new product in the individual page, but also adds it to this list here, which is fantastic. And the reason we needed to have those different options is because now we have brand. So if we look at this one here, we've got the brand here and it shows the model here and also the breaker mechanism here. But we've also got a second brand which gets displayed in this list, and also breaker mechanism. So we can say just show is tax, motor resistance, filter results, and there you go, our new one is in there. Right, so that is quite a long tutorial, maybe 50 minutes or so, but I've shown you how to set up a form so you can add content to your website from the front end, and also how to edit and modify custom post types and pages on your site from the front end using the Cred's form plugin. And like I said, this is part of a suite of plugins called Toolset by a company called On The Go System. There's a link here if you want to go and check it out for yourself. It'd be great if you could subscribe to this YouTube channel. Make sure you hear about new videos and tutorials as soon as they happen, and also head over to my website at www.neilcurtis.me, where I've got loads more on WordPress and customizing websites.